You're watching the award-winning GHS-TV, a nationally recognized student television station.
Hello and welcome to this week's edition of GHS-TV's award-winning talk show Crosstalk. I'm your host, Scarlett Simpson. Each week in this time slot, we take a look at different issues, personalities, and events that affect you and our community. We're here in Sears Crosstown Concourse. Built in 1927 as a Sears mail order processing warehouse, the building was placed under the National Register of Historic Places in 2013. Currently, the Crosstown building is being renovated to serve as a hub for many services and businesses in our city. While it is still a work in progress, it has already had a significant impact in our community. Some organizations have been able to set up shop and begin providing their services to the public. Today, we will discuss health and education resources within the 1.5 million square foot building. But first, let's find out more about this massive project with Community Relations Manager Portia Stevens. Ms. Stevens, thank you so much for being on the show today. Well, can you explain Crosstown for our viewers?
Yes, where we're sitting right now is the original Sears space back in the day. In 1927, Sears and Roebuck connected with some realtors. They started driving around the neighborhood, which is Crosstown, wanting to purchase land to build their distribution center. They didn't want the realtors to know who they were, so they just pointed at this land and said, we'll take it. So it's 19 acres of land, and they built the old Sears and Roebuck building here. So if you were to think of what Amazon looks like today, that is what the old Sears building looked like. So behind you are the original hoppers where they would drop the packages in and distribute them out. As you look around the building, you know, of course we did a gut rehab in the building. It looks so nice and airy and shiny these days, but to think back then, you had about 1,500 people that were working in the building. Out front, which is our front porch, we call it the plaza, that would have been the area where the freight trucks would come and deliver those packages. To the east of us would have been where the trains would stop and drop those packages off. So this is the original part of the old Sears and Roebuck building.
Well, Ms. Stevens, can you take me through the process of turning a rundown Sears into what we see today?
Oh, wow. You know, you had a couple of guys getting together talking about the what ifs, which is Dr. Todd Richardson and Chris Miner. They created Crosstown Arts, which is a contemporary arts organization. They then started to share that vision with them on what if, or wouldn't it be cool if we could do something with the old Sears building. So the process started there, where they then started to connect with other people who bought into the vision of wanting to do something in this building. Church Health was the first tenant that signed on to the idea. Of course, you know that Church Health, they serve the working uninsured, so they moved their whole operations over here. So that was the beginning of it all. Just talking about, wouldn't it be cool if we could then do something to this building and revitalize a whole community, which is what has happened here at Crosstown Concourse.
Well, you mentioned the Crosstown Arts. Can you go into more detail about its significance?
Yes, we're all about supporting the artists. If you are, you know, a professional artist or a hobbyist, we have space for you. I mean, if it's, you know, you are into photography, it could be music, performing arts, we have a space for you. We have a shared art lab facility that you could come and become a member of. Say if you were a photographer and needed, you know, space to develop your, you know, artwork, we have space for you. We would then, you know, show your work here. So we have a residency artist program that you could apply to. We would cover your housing, your food 6 days a week, and provide you the space to work in. Also, we have a cafe, here at Crosstown Arts that's being built out, that's open to the public. It's family style. We encourage people to come down to Crosstown Arts and check us out. We have exhibit space, so it's a gallery to show space. We also have a performing space, 2 performing spaces to be exact. A listening room, so if you're a musician, then there's space for you to then put on a show. We're in the process now of building a 425-seat theater that will open fall of 2018. So that's the other part of the performing space that allows artists to come and put on a show. So we're all about supporting art.
Memphis is known for many things, from music to barbecue, but how does art play a major role in Memphis?
Oh, wow. There's so many talented people here. I relocated back to Memphis in 2009, bought a house on North Parkway, and now that the Concourse is open, I'm getting familiar with my neighbors, and a lot of my neighbors are artists. So when it comes to art in Memphis, it goes hand in hand. It's just a matter of getting people to come out and show the work. So it feeds the soul here in Memphis.
Besides Crosstown Arts, Crosstown also offers residency. Can you go into more detail about that?
Yes, the residency program is absolutely wonderful. So there's a application process you go through to apply. So like I said earlier, you go through the process and apply to be a resident in the artist residency program, and we will provide, if you're selected, which is not a hard process, so I encourage people to go through the process. We provide your housing, also your food 6 days a week, also space for you to work in, and space for you to show your work. So that is a part of being a resident in the arts program.
Crosstown is a very unique building, and some of the organizations within it are using their new location as an opportunity for change. With that being said, do you think Crosstown is the future for Memphis?
Oh, definitely. We are all about engaging people. You know, there are a lot of events that we have here in the building. It's all about just diversifying the building, inviting people into the building, and being engaged with what we do. For example, we call them theater stairs. It's community space. I mean, on Tuesdays and Thursdays, you can check out a lecture. You know, there may be a demonstration happening there. There may be, you know, a science project going on there. It's an opportunity for the community to come out for 30 minutes and have lunch with us and check out what somebody wants to share with us, you know. We have events happening here where we're sitting, which is the central atrium, for example. It's called Crosstown Get Down. It's a big dance party where we'll have a dance instructor give us lessons for about an hour with a DJ, and people are just all walks of life, all parts of the city. They come down here. It's absolutely free just to connect and have a good time.
Well, do you guys already have big ideas for new components at Crosstown?
We're growing. You know, this is work in progress, and we welcome new ideas. That's another good thing too, is that, you know, hey, you have an idea you want to share with us? Bring it. Let's talk about it. Let's collaborate. So we're all about collaboration here at Crosstown Concourse.
Ms. Stevens, why do you think businesses are so eager to work with Crosstown?
One, because we're easygoing. You know, it's a no-brainer, and it's a neighborhood that lay dormant for a while. It's new. It's all about, you know, revitalization. And people have a lot of ideas that they want to share, and we're open to those ideas. So again, we encourage folks to come down and let's talk and collaborate on some projects.
Well, Ms. Stevens, thank you so much for being on the show today.
You are welcome. Thanks for having me.
We are going to take a short break. When we come back, we will take a look at the Church Health Center and the Southern College of Optometry's new Focal Point Clinic. Stay tuned.
Listen, I realize that I'm not perfect, but it all really started to change because you judge me for having a problem. No one is going to know that I need help. I need help. I know that no one is going to judge me for having a problem. I realize that I'm not perfect, but it all really started to change because you listen.
I wish I was in school.
If only I had a math test today.
I'll stay after class. I'll clean the chalkboard.
I wish I was in school.
School ends, but free lunches for your kids don't have to. Find your local food bank at feedingamerica.org/summermeals for help.
Hello and welcome to Cable Quiz, the academic.
Do you know how incredible it is to work at a TV station in high school?
GHS-TV is a student-run television station.
There's so many things you can do here at GHS-TV. You can be in front or behind the camera or both. You have that opportunity. There are no limits.
Well, we have sports and we have news and we have entertainment. So the students here get a well-rounded view of what it's like to be in the TV field.
It's my life. It's what I want to do.
From all of us here at GHS-TV, thanks for starting your morning with us. For more information about the Kappa program, visit ghskappa.com or call 755-7775. You're watching the award-winning GHS-TV, a nationally recognized student television station.
We are here in the newly renovated Crosstown Concourse, where the Church Health Center and the Southern College of Optometry are taking a collaborative approach to health. Here with me now are Ken Hall from the Church Health Center and Dr. Jim Venable from the Southern College of Optometry's Focal Point Clinic. Dr. Venable, Mr. Hall, thank you so much for being on the show today.
Thanks for having
me. My pleasure.
Well, first I have to ask, why did you both want to become a part of Crosstown Concourse?
You know, it's such a great bit of momentum for the city, really for the whole region, that what was 1.5 million square feet of blight for over 20 years was reimagined into something that is progressive and brings people together. Not only our two institutions, but Teach for America, Memphis Teacher Residency, other things are in here, and we all get to work together, and it's a beautiful environment.
And Dr. Venable?
So most people don't realize that Southern College of Optometry is one of the largest eye health and vision care providers in our region, not only a training facility for optometric physicians. We've been looking for a number of years to add to our clinical space that we have on our campus in Midtown. When the idea started to develop about what could actually develop here, we were very excited about that opportunity, especially the focus of bringing together healthcare, education, and the arts.
Well, Mr. Hall, what all does the Church Health Center have at Crosstown?
That's a good question. We have basically what was in 13 different buildings spread across Midtown. By bringing that all together under one roof, our efficiency and capacity are greatly increased. So what do we have? We have a medical clinic, dental, working with focal point eye. We have physical therapy, counseling, social work. We have a demonstration kitchen where we offer training around culinary medicine and how to manage your diabetes. There's all kinds of great things going on here, and happily, our patients can come to one place instead of have to shuttle between 3 or 4.
Well, you both have a shared space. How does that work?
The beauty of our collaboration here was that we really wanted to create what we're calling a clinic without walls. For a number of years now, Southern College of Optometry has worked closely with the eye care optometry department at Church Health Center, providing their ophthalmic materials for their patients, but it was inconvenient for the patient because they had to leave the Church Health facility and then come to us on our campus in Midtown. What we wanted to create was an opportunity for those patients to have full service eye health and vision care in one facility, and in particular for many of the family members who may have had some type of insurance coverage that Church Health Center didn't cover or didn't accept or weren't on their plans. All members of those families could receive care in the same clinic side by side.
Well, how do you take both of your ideas to become a one central mission?
It's important to realize also that the core focus of Church Health is the working uninsured, the working poor of our community. People who work at least 20 hours a week but don't have benefits. That's thousands and thousands of people who really don't have anywhere to go for health care and can't afford preventative care at all. So when they get sick, their options are few. By virtue of being here, they can come here for medical, eye, dental, all of the above. And this is such a lovely handoff. You've got in this space the testing and the eyeglasses, a one-stop shop. It's amazing.
Well, can you talk about your telemedicine-focused app? Why is it so important for both doctor and patient?
We believe that in developing the focal point, we wanted to highlight a clinic of the future. With changes that are occurring in healthcare in our nation today, one of the most important aspects is greater access to care while reducing that cost. The telehealth app that we're using, called iCare Live, enables us to be able to engage our patients throughout the year without just the times when they need us most, and also assist by making it more convenient. Certain types of patient interviews, certain types of visits can actually take place in the convenience of the patient's home or another location that may be further outside the city of Memphis.
Well, you mentioned focal points need to be a part of the future. And I want to ask, do you think that your new location at Crosstown makes you part of the future of Memphis?
It was designed for that in mind, and yes, we believe it is. The two key components of that was, number one, the concept of better engaging patients to have better outcomes in healthcare and making it more convenient and cost effective. The iCare Live app does that well, as I've just said. And secondly, in healthcare education today, there's an emphasis on interprofessional education. Exposure of different healthcare disciplines, whether that's dentistry, family practice, optometry, to come together to make healthcare more convenient and have better outcomes. We have the opportunity here to have our interns and residents working side by side with interns and residents and doctors from Church Health in their family practice program. And so we hope that we're modeling a much more effective means of providing care in the future.
Well, this is a question for you both. How do you bring arts, education, and healthcare to create one unique clinical experience?
We've often discussed a model for healthy living, the idea that medical is one slice of the pie. Another might be nutrition, wellness, your friends and family, your faith. All of these things come together, no matter who you are, no matter your income level, your educational attainment. We all need to look for that balance. This building offers medical care, but at the same time, right across the hallway, there's an art gallery. There's scheduled performances of music and lectures. There is really an entire community here that's very uplifting.
Well, do you have anything new upcoming in 2018?
I think we have a number of programs that will be new to the city, in particular as it relates to healthy living, seeing well, and living well. In this space, the focal point, we were able to combine our own art gallery or exhibit of local artists that are right here, as well as engaging the patient at new levels. And we're going to host several educational events as well as promotional events for new products and technology that's coming out in the area.
Well, Mr. Hall, Dr. Venable, thank you so much for being on the show today.
Thank you.
We have to take another short break, but you're going to want to stick around. Up next, we'll introduce you to a new Memphis charter school turning learning upside down.
One of the things that sets us apart from other schools or other productions that are doing this is that our kids are 100% in charge of what they're doing.
We sell the ads, we build the stage, we make the costumes.
Working in this environment, I've learned to appreciate everything that's given to me because not many high schools have programs like this.
When I first started in this program, my first musical was Hairspray. And now, 4 years later, I'm in my last musical, The Mystery of Edwin Drood. And looking back, I think I've progressed a lot.
To see them now as seniors and to see the people that they have become, it's changed me more than I think it's changed them.
For more information about the Kappa program, visit GHSKappa.com or call 755-7775. You're watching the award-winning GHS-TV, a nationally recognized student television station.
Welcome back to Crosstalk. I'm Scarlett Simpson. The Crosstown Concourse not only hosts a high school, but an organization that focuses on improving classrooms for kids of all ages. I sat down with Chris Terrell from Crosstown High School and Marcus Robertson from the Memphis Education Fund. Well, Mr. Terrell, Mr. Robinson, thank you so much for being on the show today. Well, Mr. Terrell, why a high school at Crosstown? How did the idea come up?
The idea for a high school at Crosstown was part of the original plan. As part of the total package, it's a vertical urban village with a focus in healthcare, education, and the arts. And in order to be a true village, you need a school at that center. And so the school was really designed as part of the total Crosstown development.
Well, Mr. Terrell, you have an extensive background in school leadership. How will your previous experiences come into play with Crosstown High?
So I've started 2 schools and developed them from really nothing to 800 student high schools, and from there then I spent some time in North Carolina where we developed a school from about an 1,100 K through 12 student school to 2,000 students when I left. So that growth and development is something that I enjoy and that I can bring to Crosstown as we develop and grow.
Why do you take such an interest in growing schools from nothing to something big?
I think sometimes educators go their whole lives without ever getting to build a school, and so that's kind of been my niche and my specialty, is starting from scratch and building things and taking a vision that sometimes I've developed, sometimes others have developed, and often it's a joint venture, and really bringing that to fruition and making something great.
Well, you've made it your plan at Crosstown to rethink high school. How will you make this a big thing when Crosstown opens next year?
Sure. So the beauty of Crosstown as a development is that there are a tremendous number of people that come to work here every day. There are people that live here every day, and I think that high school sometimes has become not authentic, and we're not engaging students at a high enough level, and this is the perfect setting for that, with career paths that students can take, internships, developing real world projects that are going to improve our city, but also grow our student capacity.
Well, just by looking around, you can tell that the environment for Crosstown is completely different than your traditional high school. What is the meaning behind that?
I think the meaning behind that is really to engage students at a higher level than has really ever happened before, through authentic experiences, through working with our partners in the building to really develop something that is truly unique and special.
Well, this summer, Crosstown was awarded a $2.5 million grant from XQ. What is XQ and what does this mean for Crosstown?
XQ is a organization from California that is led by Lauren Powell-Jobs, and the premise behind XQ was to really rethink America's high schools. So I think 700 schools applied across the country, and we were one of 18 to receive the award, and that gives us the funds for professional development, for student growth, to really build out a true project-based learning high school.
Well, how will you use the funds to accomplish a lot of your goals?
I think some of the funds will go towards professional development, and this is a new model, and so we'll bring in some national people that will work with us on developing that model. It will also help us with things like a one-to-one laptop initiative, some additional camera equipment and other things that will really help us facilitate our overall program over time.
Well, when the school makes its grand opening, how can students enroll?
You can go to crosstownhigh.org, and our application is live right now. That's crosstownhigh.org, and students click on the apply button. The application process takes about 3 minutes, and it's open to any student in Shelby County Schools.
Well, Mr. Robinson, your mission at Memphis Education Fund is to create better classrooms for all kids, which can mean accomplishing many different things. How does EMF plan to accomplish all these goals?
Through a variety of strategies. At the Memphis Education Fund, we focus on people, places, and policy. And so initially, how do you look at the kind of talent we need for our classrooms? How do we recruit and train the best teachers? How do we find the best leaders for principalships across Shelby County? So we make some targeted investments in organizations that do that recruitment, that training, and that support for our folks. And then from a practice standpoint, how do you get not just innovative practice, great groups like Crosstown to do work in Memphis, but how do you make sure it's effective practice? When they first ran the priority list in Tennessee, 80% of the schools on that list were in Shelby County. And so what do we do to get great schools off and running? And what do we do to support schools that have the potential to grow to greatness, even though they've had a track record of underperformance for kids? And then finally, what are the policies that are getting in the way of the optimal operating conditions for schools? How do we get bureaucracy out of the way? How do we get antiquated rules out of the way so that our principals and our teachers have the best environment to do their work?
Well, what is the impact on individual students?
Well, I think the aggregate impact is they get a better school and ultimately get to better training. So when you look across Shelby County, about the average ACT score is about 17. That's not college going. And so my ambition would be for the kids who just entered kindergarten in the fall of 17, by the time they graduate from high school, over half of our kids in Shelby County will have at least a 21. Which is designated by ACT as the college going rate, will have that score. And so we're going to try to improve our classrooms, make better schools so that we can have a greater college going culture in Shelby County.
Well, you have several business partners listed on your website. Where do these partners come into play when accomplishing these goals?
Well, as I said, we're into people, practice, and policy, and so our partners are the real deliverers of these services. And so our role really is to provide the philanthropic lift it takes for those people to come and do their work. Great folks like the Memphis Teacher Residency, Teach for America, Relay Graduate School of Education, Rhodes College, they're all doing alternative certification programs so that we don't open school across Shelby County and are missing 400 teachers for our classrooms. We rely on folks like the Memphis Lift and Stand for Children and the Campaign for School Equity to go out and talk to the community about the kind of policy shifts that we need to make to get a better operating environment for all of our schools. And so our partners are the people who are really doing the work. What we hope to do is to recruit the resources for them to be able to operate.
Well, Mr. Terrell, Mr. Robinson, thank you so much for being on the show today.
Thank you.
I would like to thank all my guests today for shedding some light on their organizations. To learn more about the Crosstown Concourse and what it has to offer, check it out online at crosstownconcourse.com. I'm Scarlett Simpson. From all of us at GHS-TV, thank you for watching Crosstalk, and I hope to see you again.